Okay, I'm so excited about tonight. Everyone can hear me, right? Okay, good. Last week we had some audio issues. But I'm so excited about tonight. Our guest speaker, Morgan. It's been like a little over a year since we've had her on. And since then, she has promoted to Presidential Diamond. She's a top income earner. Everyone, I was looking back and when I had announced, like, I guess in 2018, she was on our Tips from the Top. I had shared one of her like results photos. And even since then, she now has new results photos that everyone's sharing and that are circulating, which is pretty awesome. So she's gone Presidential Diamond. She's gotten married. I know she's a super high top income earner. And I'm so excited for us to get to hear from her. I know we have so many new people that have never even heard her story. And I can't wait to hear what she did to go from triple to presidential. So Morgan, welcome. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun.
Yay. Okay, girlfriend, will you start off by kind of just sharing maybe a short version of your story for those that don't know it?
Yes. Okay. I like that you said short version and like told me what you wanted, because sometimes I don't know like which version to give. So perfect. Okay. So I'm Morgan Martin, and I joined this business back in October 2014. I was a college student back then. I was going to school to be a sign language interpreter, and I was working two jobs. I had just moved from Mississippi, where I grew up, to Michigan, where I still live now. And I didn't move with my family, so I was here by myself and was going to school. Didn't know like really what I wanted to do with my life, and just went to school to do that because I thought it just like sounded cool. And which it is cool, but I was like, I don't really know like what my passion is. And I was living paycheck to paycheck, super lost, like, and I was just so broke, and I didn't have any friends because I was working 65 hours a week. And part of that was being a nanny. So I didn't even have coworkers at that job. And I had just started going to school, because I started school like the last week of September, didn't have any friends there. And so it was just really hard, and I didn't like the situation that I was in. And I saw this girl while I was a nanny. The kids were napping, and I was scrolling through Instagram, and the girl was posting about the wraps. And I actually had been diagnosed with a heart condition a couple months before that. And not a lot of people know that about my story, because I guess I just like don't really tell that part anymore. But it's really cool because I gained a lot of weight doing that. Like whenever they diagnosed me with that, I wasn't able to work out. And so I saw the wraps, thought they were totally fake, thought they were Photoshop, but I was like, look, I literally need something to help me. And so if that would make me feel more confident about myself, I would love to try them. And like, even if they don't work, whatever. So I tried them anyways, didn't think they would work, used the first one wrong. Second one, I didn't really see results. So the third one, I was like, holy crap, like this is amazing. And I was obsessed with them. And so I like messaged the girl, and I tried all the products. Like I did not have the money for this job, but I did it anyways. And so I was using the products, fell in love with them. And I saw that like her Instagram bio said that she was an Emerald with It Works at the time. And I didn't know what that was. So being the red that I am, I was like Googling like, what is Emerald with It Works and how much do they make? And she was making as much as I was per month as a full-time nanny, working 40 hours a week, watching 3 kids. And she was in school doing this from her phone. And I was like, whoa, like that's really cool. And I never joined this thinking like, okay, if she can make $1,200 a month, I can make $1,200 a month. It was more like, she's making $1,200 a month, I can make like 100, because I'm going to really suck at this. I was like, God, there's no way I'm going to be good at this. Like, I just thought I was going to be so like, I'd never done anything like this before. And my mom had, and it was a different company, obviously, but it was just very different. And I saw her go through this, and I was like, oh no, like, I'm not going to be good. I'm going to lose a lot of money. And so I ended up talking to her for a while, thinking about it. And then I joined, and I just hit the ground running. Like, if I do something, I am like all in. So I'm like, let's do this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't wait for her to train me. I was like, let's go. I was posting before and after pictures. People thought that I got hacked because there were bellies all over my Facebook. Like literally people in the college group at church were like, Morgan, there is something on your Facebook. I was like, nope, it's wraps. Have you ever heard of them? And I was just excited. Like, I know Stephanie and Joel always talk about how they were like ignorance on fire, and a lot of other people say that too, but that was really what I was. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't have to. I didn't wait around to figure it out. I learned as I went. And so then, yeah, I promoted in 2 months to executive, but I wanted to go diamond that month because there was a $10,000 diamond bonus, but I didn't get that bonus. And I was so excited, God, and I didn't even care. I was like, yes, I got executive. And my like first like biggest like woohoo moment was when I got my first customer. I was like, I did it. And I was like jumping around the kitchen. Like I was excited about that. So I think a big thing for me was just celebrating even the tiniest wins at the very beginning. Like I was like, I sold a wrap. Yes, did it. Like I was so excited. I think we were like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I signed 12,000 customers today, but I'm not a diamond yet. Like it's not about that. It's the little things along the way that keep you going. And so it didn't hit diamond when I wanted to, but I hit executive, super excited. Then 2 months after that, I went Ruby. Sat at Ruby for a year. And I think, I mean, I can go into this a little bit later because you want the short version, but basically I just wasn't paying attention to who was like working on my team. Like I was just working, like trying to get
the long version, Morgan. I just didn't want you to feel like you had to tell everything. So no, I love that. You said it, Ruby, for a year. Tell us about it. I love it.
Well, just because I don't want to like take up too much of my time with the story or too much of y'all's time with my story. So basically, I sat at Ruby for a year because a lot of people wonder, like, okay, if you sat at Ruby for a year, what changed? So basically, I'll incorporate that into my story. So I just, like, was not working with people who were working too. I looked at those people and I was like, okay, you're good. You got this. Like, I'm going to go try to make these people over here that aren't working, I'm going to try to pull them back into it. Sat at Ruby for a year because of it, I think. And then I went on the cruise. I almost quit because I was sitting at Ruby for so long, lost the reason why I joined. I joined for $100 a month and was making like $700 as a Ruby every month, and sat there and thought like, oh, but I didn't get to diamond as fast as so-and-so, so this isn't for me. Really started to compare myself, thought about quitting, but I had earned the cruise to Mexico trip. And so I went on that cruise because I was like, I can't quit and go on the cruise, but I'm going on that cruise because I've never been on a cruise before, so I definitely want to go there. So just didn't quit for that. And then on that cruise, my whole perspective changed. I had never used Instagram for my business, which is crazy because that's all I use now pretty much. And people taught me about that. And so I just like left that cruise so excited and on fire. And then 2 months after that cruise, I finally promoted to diamond. It was probably like a year and a half into my business. And then I sat at diamond for a year. Well, I promoted from Ruby to Emerald, Emerald to diamond in the same day, but then sat at diamond for another year, 13 months technically. And I finally went to my first conference right before I hit double. And that changed everything for me. Shocker. They aren't lying whenever they say that conference, you have to get there, because that literally changed it. So I stayed in a room with 14 girls. And they like my whole, like, I heard Mark say like, you can do this, like, I believe in you and all this stuff. And I felt like he was just talking to me, and I was like, yes, okay, yeah. And like, I was like third like level up in the arena, could barely hear what they were saying. And I saw the top 100 walk, and I was like sitting between the two girls that I brought to conference that year. This is in 2016. Sat between those two girls, and I was like, this is 2017. And I was like, I'm going to be on that stage, like, as a top income earner. And then they started speaking, and I was like, I want to be on that white couch. And the girls are like, okay, like, she is like barely a diamond over here, like, has all these goals. But I literally left there with this fire, and I made all of those things happen. I finally promoted to double diamond, learned my lesson of what not to do. And so I didn't like make the same mistakes again, and just went and ran with this business. And I was like, I'm not sitting at another rank for a year. So I hit triple 2 months later. And that was a really cool story too, but I won't go into super big detail about that, but that was cool. And then, so that was May of 2017, and then I promoted to presidential last October. And so, yeah, with this business, and I was able to be in the top 100 that very next conference, and I sat on the white couch like 4 months after the conference where I said I was going to do that. So it was so crazy. So anyway, because of this business, my husband and I have been able to pay cash for our wedding. We've paid off $20,000 in credit card debt, paid off my car, paid off his student loans. We're like determined to be debt free, y'all. And so we are also buying a house. We're building our dream home. I'm so excited. What else? I paid cash for school. I mean, just so many things, and not even just financially, like the friends that we've met, the fun we've been able to have. I get to travel. I get to go put gas in my car without having to look at my bank account. Like, those are the things that I'd like never want to take for granted. So yeah, that's my story.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So we'll back up a little bit. So like you talked about, you joined, you didn't really know what you're supposed to do, but you're like, I'm just going to go for it. So you did it and you went Ruby. And, I think you said it took like a month to go executive, 2 months later you went Ruby or something like that. So you went Ruby. So for somebody who just joined, and yes, it's changed from probably how you work your business then to now, but like, what did you do to get going, to sign back then those 5 people to go Ruby, like when you joined?
So I think there was actually a lot of duplication on my team too. So I joined and just started I started talking about this business like I was like a freaking millionaire. Nobody knew that I wasn't already making like so much money. I was like, this business is paying for my gas today. Like, this business is paying for my groceries. And I remember I did a wrap party whenever I first joined, which is hilarious because I've literally not done a wrap party since then. That's just not how I do my business. But I signed so many customers from there, and I signed a distributor, and that ended up actually being the emerald for me to go diamond all those like months later. But I did sign a distributor from that, and some customers sold tons of wraps. I made like $150 in wrap cash, and there were 4 people there. And so I was posting about everything. Like, I was taking pictures of my cash, and I was talking about the customers that I was signing. I was talking to 3 ladies about joining this business, and I'm so excited. And like, I was just really passionate right off the bat. I didn't wait till I had a story to share. I talked about what this business was going to do for me immediately, and people don't get excited about stuff, y'all. Have you noticed that? Like, people don't have anything to look forward to. They don't have anything to be excited about. They're just kind of like there, like they're existing and they're not really living. And so when they look and see somebody that's truly living their life to the fullest, that really stands out. And they're like, what is she doing? Right? So like, if you're just excited, that's going to grab somebody's attention, that positivity, because that's really uncommon now, which is sad. But so I think that people just kind of gravitated towards that, and that's what I was doing. And some of the first distributors that I signed up was one girl from school. Y'all, don't miss where you're going in the middle of the day. Don't be like, I can't wait to leave work so that I can go home and work my business. That's not the right way to look at it. You should be talking to people while you're at work. I talked to people while I was at school because I was there from like 8 to 3. So I had no other choice. So I was talking to people while I was there, and they ordered as customers. Like, actually, my teacher is now a distributor, but they all were interested in what I was doing. And so, anyway, that was something that I did just right off the bat, just sharing my story and being super excited.
I love that. And I mean, I think that's true. I think when you're excited about something and passionate, people want to join you. If you've joined and you're like, no one's interested. Oh, I don't know anybody. Everyone said no. Well, of course you're not going to sign anybody, So tell me this, Morgan, how did you, when the first person you had someone tell you no, like, what did you do? Because I'm sure we've all heard someone say no, or, oh, I'm not interested. Like, how did you take that? Someone that said no when you asked them to join or to try a product.
So honestly, like, I would have to think really, really hard to remember the people who told me no. Because all I can remember, like you asking me that question, all I remember back are my first loyal customers and all the people who said yes. And I'm not just saying this as like part of like a personal development little deal. No, like, I literally only remember the ones who said yes, because I didn't focus on the ones who said no. They said no, and I was like, okay, sounds good. Next. Like, I didn't care. And guess what? The ones who said no have all ordered since then, whether it was a week later or whether it was 4 years later, because I didn't stop. And people, whenever you're first joining, like, they're waiting for you to quit. They're waiting for you to stop posting. So then if you don't, then they're going to be like, all right, now I'm ready. I mean, people literally want the stuff that we have. People need an extra income, so that's not the issue. The issue is you being consistent and then believing you and you posting long enough to get them to believe you that there really is something to this. And so honestly, like, I mean, I really don't think that I let it affect me. I mean, and I know a lot of people do at first, but I really didn't care because I knew that other people would say yes. And I knew whenever somebody told me no, I was like, that's okay. I haven't talked to everybody in my phone book yet. Like, I haven't talked to everybody in my Facebook friends list. So I just don't focus on that, because if you focus on the ones who say no, you're going to get a whole lot more people who say no.
Yeah, so true, so true. Okay, so then tell us, like, you're obviously working this business, however many years later, you're still promoting, recently went presidential. I know you'll be ambassador in no time. So what are those things that you're doing every day, like your core 4, your 6 list? Like, tell us about kind of what you do to work your business, Morgan.
Yeah. Okay, so there's stuff that I do every single day, and it's a non-negotiable. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, where I'm going, or, whatever. I do these every single day. And so some of those are, I have my planner down here, so I'm just going to tell you off of this. I do Insta polls, like I do stories and stuff like that. So every single day I even write that down to make sure that I don't forget. And I'll at least do one, if not like 2 or 3 with a poll on there, whether it's about the product or about the business. And I always like check my polls from the day before. That's always a task that I do too, because you don't want to forget to like message the people who voted. So I do that every single day. So Insta stories and like messaging for that. Follow-ups, that's huge because the fortune's in the follow-up. I also take care of my loyal customers, and I message and I post, and then I connect with my team. So those are my things. And I don't know if y'all need me to say those again. I see people like taking notes and I talk super fast. So I'll say those again. Okay. I do Insta stories and stuff like messaging those polls and stuff like that. I take care of my loyal customers. I message, I post, I follow up, and I connect with my team. So that's 6 things. And then like every now and then, like I'll do random stuff too, like for whatever. And as a leader, that sometimes you have more stuff to do, but those are my things that I'm like, I'm doing this every single day. And so whether that's like, putting that on your calendar on your phone, or keeping a planner and you're super type A and, organized like me, and you have them all like color coded and highlighted and like whatever, do that. It doesn't matter how you do it, but just make sure that all those get done, whether it's in an hour at a time in the morning before your kids get up, or whether it's like every time you go to the bathroom, you're doing one other thing, like however you can fit it into your day.
So how do you have like a number of like, okay, I want to message this number of people or follow up with this number of people, or is it just kind of whatever you're feeling?
No, I don't really have like a specific number, and I don't count just because I always forget to count, but I pretty much, and Jade Hooper said this once, and I really like identified with that. And she said, I don't go to bed at night until I feel like I can pat myself on the back and said, Jade, you did a good job. And I think if before I go to bed, if I don't feel that way, I need to message more people. And I've had girls on my team tell me that too. They were like, I stayed up, till whatever time, and I message people because I know I'm promoting this month, and I didn't feel good about going to bed yet. And that's not to say that I stay up till 3 a.m. because of that. Like, I go to bed at a reasonable time, and I don't think that you have to like make this business your entire life to be successful. But I do think you have to put the time into it, and those who do put time into it see the benefit from that. So I message people. I message my followers. So like I'll just kind of work my way up, and if I run out of people that I've like haven't messaged yet for my followers list, I'll message those people. But then if I run out, I'll do host to post, or I'll message like viewers on my polls, or I'll message people who liked my photos. So, and I'm always growing my network. So if I run out of people to message, then I haven't grown my network enough. And so I really focus on that. So some days it's more than others. But I just kind of focus on like how many connections did I make today? And I heard somebody say that on one of my Zooms that I did, which I thought was cool. She was like, I don't really go for like, I want to message 15 people. She was like, I want to have 15 conversations. Mm-hmm. And so it's not about who you message, but who responds back to you, and you're able to like have that dialogue. So I think that was really cool too.
I love that. And then someone said, what do you do to like take care of your customers?
Okay, so I actually really love the method that I used, and I feel like a lot of my customers, I have a really good relationship with them. So I always like say, a customer signs up today, And so tomorrow, I already wrote down on my calendar for tomorrow or in my planner, whatever, however you keep track of your tasks, I've already written down, take care of LCs. So I'm going to go through my email because I always like flag them so that I can easily just go to my flag and see how many I've signed up and keep them all together. But I flag it and then I will not read it or like mark it as unread until I've done this, which is like taking care of them. So all my unread messages for my customers from yesterday, I'm going to go in and I'm going to take their name and I'm going to go to my calendar on my phone and I'm going to just like go over one day so that at this point it's been 2. Does that make sense? Because they signed up today, but I will say for the 21st that you'll say like Susie, let's say Susie's my LC. Susie, thanks. And then I'll just save it. And then I'll do it for 2 weeks after she ordered and a little bit longer if it's ThermoFight X, but 2 weeks from the day that she ordered. And I'll say Susie products ? And I'll save it. And then I'll do 2 months from the day she ordered. So May 19th, but then I'll do a couple days before that. So that it's before her third order ships. And so it'll be like May, 16th or something. And I'll say Susie 2 months. Okay. So what I message them is this. Something like whenever somebody whenever I'm telling them thank you, I'll just say like, hey, I just wanted to shoot you a message again and tell you thank you so much for letting me help you on this journey. I'm so excited to help you get the best results. I just wanted to be sure that you're aware of all the perks of being a loyal customer. And then I explain the extra $50 perks points and that they're earning 10% back and that they're able to, be able to get deals and flash sales and stuff like that. And so I just let them know about all of that because we have an amazing loyal customer program that they need to know about, but I don't think that they need to know that before they join because that's a whole lot of information that's just unnecessary. And so I tell them about all of that and I make sure that they add me on Facebook and I tell them I'm going to add them to my customer page. Which I just have like a page on Facebook. It's like a little group and it's just for my customers and for my team and their customers. And we randomly post like recipes or workouts or whatever. And so then I do that. So that's the thank you message. So that's 2 days after they join. 2 weeks later, I just simply say, hey girl, did you get your package yet? And if they've already told me like, hey, I got my package, I'm so excited. Clearly, I'm not going to send that message, but I'm also not going to not send them anything. So I'm going to message them and just say, hey, how are the first few days going? And then they'll say, oh, I like it, but the coffee has chunks in it. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Just get a milk frother. And then I can talk to them about some of the like concerns that they may have had that they haven't wanted to message me about because they like, for whatever reason. And so I'm able to talk to them. I'm able to remind them, make sure you take before and after pictures. And so I can create that relationship again. So now it's been 1 month, like less than a month. I've contacted them not only to order, but also told them thank you after they ordered. And I've asked them if they got their products. And they're in my customer Facebook page. So they're like seeing little tips for different products that they haven't tried yet that they might already be thinking about. And then for the 2 months thing, like 2 months, like right before their third order, I don't say, okay, your third order's about to run. Let me know if you want to turn it off. Like I don't say that. I say, hey, I'm so excited for you. I'm so glad you're loving your products. Like I say that to everybody because I already know they're loving their products, that they're using them. So I'm like, I'm so glad you're loving your products. I just wanted to let you know that if you would be willing to do another 90-day challenge for me, then I would be willing to throw in an extra $50 shopping spree on your customer account just as a thank you for helping me out. If you wanted to keep doing the same thing that you're already using, or if you wanted to try a different product. And a lot of them, like I messaged them today and they were like, oh, like how much would the coffee be? I've been wanting to try that. And they've been using Hair, Skin, and Nails the last 2 months. And so now they're using different products. And I know if they try the coffee, they're not just going to order it for a month. They're going to continue to order longer. And so then if they say something like, no, that's okay. Like I don't have the money or something. I'm like, that's okay. Have you ever thought about doing this? Because you love the products and now you can make extra money doing it. And so I'll offer the business. And then if they just straight up are like, nope, I don't want to do that. Don't want to order again. I'm like, that's okay. I can just skip the next month for you. Like your order has to run this month still. Because remember, it's before their third order. So I'll say your order still has to run this month. I can skip the next month for you. And then you can just continue on after that if you wanted to. And then you can let me know then at that point if you'd like to skip another month. That way, hopefully they just skip the 1 month and they can like get some funds or whatever. And they'll realize how much they love their products and like don't want to be without them. And then they start again. So I usually have really good customer retention and my team does too as a whole.
I love that. I love that. That's so good. Oh my goodness. Okay. So then someone else had said when you're messaging, so we see kind of what you're saying to your customer. So when you're messaging, for people to join your team or to order a product, what's like some sort of message you like to send when you're going through your Facebook or your Instagram list or your, whatever, and you're shooting messages? Do you have any like go-to ones you love using, Morgan?
I honestly, I don't fix what ain't broken. So I've been using the same message for a long time. And I did switch it up a little bit because I had a lot of people say, like, I don't have time to do that. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry if I confused you. It's just like brushing your hair. It doesn't take any extra time. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Sounds good. So I threw that in my first message and I just said like, hey, I came across your page, and then I'll give them like a genuine compliment. Like I think we have so much in common, or like, I'm a golden mom too, or, your kids are so cute, or whatever it is. And then I'll say, I was wondering if you would want to be a 90-day product model for me. It doesn't take any extra of your time, and you would just be using one or some of the products at my discount. Would you be willing to help me out, or would you be open to more info? And then they'll say like, well, what is it? Or like, a lot of them say like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, you just made my day. Yes, I would love to. And I'm like, yay, okay. And then I just give them the information. I send them a little bit. It's a milk frother. Somebody said what's it called to help with the chunks in the coffee. Milk frother. They're like $6 on Amazon. But so anyway, if I'm like messaging that person back, and like I just give them a list of products, a couple of my favorites, and ask them which one they're interested in. They tell me which one they're interested in. I give them like a little blurb about it and a before and after picture, preferably my own. But if I don't have a before and after picture from it, I'll use somebody else's, like collagen. I love it, but I don't have a before and after picture. So just send like a picture of the collagen and like send a little info like on that picture. And so then I think that really helps to give them a visual. And then I just kind of explain the 90-day challenge, and then I walk them through how to order.
I love that. So you incorporate with whatever product they want to try a photo so they can see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's
it's an before and after picture that's helped a lot.
I like that, the before and after. And I like what you said too, Morgan, because I think so much of this business is mental. Because, you said you message someone giving a genuine compliment, saying, it won't take any extra time. I don't know if you'd want to try a product, whatever. You get a huge discount for helping me out. However the verbiage you use. I feel like a lot of us, it's all very similar. So she's basically offering her discount to somebody else to order, for 3 months. So many times people are scared, like, well, I don't want to message people, or I don't want to be spammy. I don't want to be annoying. And Morgan said the way she's presenting it, people are like, oh my gosh, thank you. They're thanking her. Like, nobody's ever going to be offended that you're offering to give them 40% off of products. Like, you're literally saying, hey, let me give you my distributor price. What I pay, I'm giving it to you. So you have to realize what you have. Like, we have such a gift. We have such a great deal that we get to like offer to people. So know that. Like, I think that will help you sign customers when you realize we've got this great deal. It's not a not good deal. It's not, trying to sneak people to order or whatever. I mean, it's like, hey, you get to order 90 days, get my discount. Like, that's awesome. So I think that that's huge. So what would you say? So monthly, you're always messaging, you're doing these things daily. What are like your numbers like? Like how many customers ish are you signing a month, or distributors doing this, Morgan?
Customers is probably, distributors are just all over the place with the $20 kits. Like, I mean, it was crazy, but distributors usually, like a slow month, I think for me would be like 15 distributors. And then like a crazy month, like last month, I think I signed like 30 something, 40 something. I was like, I don't even know what to do with all of you right now. So I don't like to sign that many, but with the $20 kit, they were kind of flocking at that point. Yeah. So that's kind of my numbers for distributors. And then for customers, I always just try to double however many distributors I sign to go on my fast starts. But usually like a slow month for me would be like, if I sign 40, that's very, very low for me. If I sign 80, that's like, I'm doing great. And I know there are people that sound like 130 customers. So I'm trying to get on that level, but I think that it's super important. Like, my goal, if you sign 2 distributors a month, let your goal be to sign at least 4 customers so that you're going to get all your fast start bonuses. And then anything you sign on top of that's extra volume for your promotion. That's how I always look at it. So don't feel like you have to be a mass enroller as long as you have that duplication too, and you're teaching your team to do that.
I love that. And so would you feel like, because I know you are so consistent, do you feel like you sign so many customers? Because that's a ton of customers. What you're saying on a low month, like that's a lot of customers, right? I mean, you're 10 times being steps to success. So would you say that you feel like, is it because you're so consistent with your stories and your posts? Is it because you're messaging? Is it a mix? What would you say you feel like is the reason? Because I mean, that's incredible that you're signing so many.
I think it's a mix. Like, I have a lot of people that I'll message and who will say no. And whenever people tell me no in a message, I always say no problem. Thank you so much. Like, because usually they won't just say like no. They'll either won't reply or they'll just say, like, thank you so much. That was such a nice compliment. You made my day, but I'm just not interested right now. Thank you so much. And I'll say, no problem. Thanks so much. If like, I love following you. If you ever change your mind, you get my 40% off discount just for being my follower. So that makes them like not want to unfollow me. And also now they're watching me because I just boosted my algorithm because I messaged them, and now Instagram's like, or Facebook too, it's like, oh, you're interested in them, they're interested in you. So now I'm showing up on their newsfeed, and I am always posting, always doing my Insta stories. So because of that, I have people daily who messaged me first, and they were people who said no and came back and said, do you still have room for product models? Or there was somebody who said, you know, do you like, you know, do you have space for me to get coffee? And, or they'll tell me that they're ready to order. And I had a girl do that who like totally ghosted me, who just like saw my stuff, and she was like, I've seen your result pictures. Like, I'm ready to order the weight loss pack. And it was 156 BV order on the spot because I was being consistent and because I had my own results. And so that's something that's huge. Just being consistent with posting in my stories. I don't really get a lot from posting, even though like, obviously I do that every day. But I don't really get a lot from my posts specifically. It's just like, I do that just because I want them to know, yes, I'm still doing this business. Yes, you can still come to me. And then obviously messaging is where I get a lot of my people from, because if I'm messaging, then I know I can walk them through the conversation. I know I can make it quick and simple, and that they'll want to order.
I love that. So good. So good. Okay. So, let's see, what would you say would be, you know, a huge tip for going presidential? You know, you went presidential diamond, like you just said that we've got people on here going for diamond, double, triple, you know, and there's, I think yesterday there was 14, so 13 days left in this month. What would be like a tip for those people just like going for a promotion?
I think the biggest thing is to be creative too. And like, I mean, for me, like personally, and I know this isn't like a tip for everybody, but for me personally, I remember I had been blocked in last year. I was boxed, I was charted, whatever you want to call it, had all the distributors that I needed and all the right places for presidential since like early that year, early 2018, but I just didn't hit it. And the volume just wasn't quite there. And I remember calling Cami, and this was after like my accountability partner had just gone presidential in September. And I was like, dang it, because I'm a red. And I was like, I could not be happier for her. But at the same time, I was like, what am I doing? Like, that could have been me too. Like, why couldn't I hit that promotion last month? Mm-hmm. So I called Cami, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? And she was like, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think you just need to decide that you're going to do it. And she just said it so casually. And I was like, boom, like that was the biggest aha moment for me. She was like, you need to decide, you need to get loud. You need to go tell your team right now on the live video that you're going presidential and that you need them to come with you. And so I did. And she told me to add her to my team page so that she could see me do it. Cause I was like, okay, well, I can't back out. So she's like, I did my video. I told my team, I decided, and this was not even the first day of the month. This was like October 6th or 7th. I mean, it was after the green carpet and after my like, my retreat that I had done. So, I mean, it was a good week into the month. And so it's not too late. If you haven't made that decision yet, but you want to make that decision, go ahead and do it, because the worst that could happen is you're really stinking close for next month. Yeah. And always a good thing. So I just made the decision. I was like, I'm doing this, and we did. And we don't know how it happened, but I think that's really cool whenever you just decide to go for something and you trust that the Lord's going to provide what you need. He really, really does, and blesses that effort. And he just brings in what we call God volume. We're like, we don't know where this came from. Like, we don't know how that box just got from 0 to 400 in like 2 days, but it did. And that's really cool. So, but also being creative, like messaging old customers and asking them if they want to place a one-time order, and like entering them into some sort of a drawing, whether it's samples or free products or like, Starbucks gift card or whatever it is. And, reaching out to distributors who haven't ran an auto shipment in the last, 4 years, but continue to renew their account. Ask them if they want to place, their auto shipment so they can get commissions qualified for all the work that's being done underneath them or whatever. So I just think it's communication with your team, deciding, and then reaching out to everybody, and not just people that are already on your team. But I think we already know to message. I think we already know to find new customers. But I think sometimes we forget the customers that we already have who are running an auto shipment that's like 30 BV, but they would love to help you out because you have that connection and that friendship, and they have an extra $30 and would love to help you by buying another product, and they go from 30 BV to 60 BV. And so I think like using all of your resources and making sure that you're doing self-development is huge, because I think a lot of times too, we think that we don't have time because we're like, well, it's promotion month, I don't have time for self-development. That's when you need it the most. Like, you really have to do self-development of some kind. Like, I don't mean sit and read a book. I mean, listen to it while you're working. Do something to get your mind right, because you're going to have the most opposition when you have like when you're working the hardest, you're messaging the most people, you're going to get the most no's in a promotion month, because it's just statistics. But then also, like, you're going to have the most people turn off their auto shipments because you're really paying attention to every auto shipment now and all of that stuff. So I think it's super important to just make sure that you have your mind where you need it to be, and give up sleep, because I never look back on times I promoted and been like, man, May 4th, 2017, I wish I had just an extra hour of sleep. Like, I never regret that. You don't regret that. But in the moment, it sucks a little bit. But give up sleep. And I don't mean like stay up for like a whole week straight, but give up sleep. Wake up an extra hour early. Go to bed an extra hour late than you're used to, and put in that extra effort, and you'll be glad you did.
I love that. And Jennifer says, what's your favorite self-development? Do you have like a favorite book or podcast or what?
Yes, I love the book called Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I am obsessed with that book. I should get paid for how much I advertise that book. Y'all, I seriously love that book already.
Book list. Okay, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Hang on, I'll write it in the thing. Yeah. Okay. It's so good. And you can just get it on Audible. That's where I did. And I just like listened to it. Another really good one is the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. So good. He's hilarious too. And then, I have a ton of them. I could just send you a screenshot of my Audible, and then you can post it on your team page or in a chat or something if you want. Cause that'd be easier than me trying to list all of these.
Okay. Yeah. Love that. Okay, Secrets of a Millionaire. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's see. Well, there's two things left because I skipped over one, which was how important would you say it is that you've been a product of the product?
Oh, super important. I actually had a girl yesterday. I think I was in the airport and I was messaging, and I said something about like, do you want to be a product model? Sent my little deal, and I said like, which product do you want? And she said, I want the weight loss pack, but how has it helped you? I was like, oh, shoot, good thing I have a little, clap back for that, because I know exactly how it's helped me, and I have a before and after picture. But she was ready for me to say, I haven't used them yet, but I have used them. And I know that not everybody needs to lose weight, and I think that's a totally different situation. So if you don't need to lose weight, if you're one of those people that is looking to gain weight, or you're just like, you're fine where you're at, then use somebody else's and just let them know that's not a goal that you have right now, but that you use the wraps or that you use the cleanse. Like, I have girls on my team who use those products in the keto coffee for not they don't have it for the goal of weight loss, but they still use them. So I think that's something that's huge too. Yeah, super big.
Okay, and then what would you say in closing would be like an aha moment that you've had, in your, has it been 4 years? How long have you been?
almost 4.5.
Almost
Oh,
4.5.
so
Okay.
old. I'm like, I was here back before they had exfoliating peel. Like stuff. Oh, I feel so old.
Hey, I remember when exfoliating peel launched. I was pretty new then too. I remember that. Okay, what would be a tip you would have, like an aha, I guess, that you've had, or something that was like a big, I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
or I was gonna say, you already shared. I mean, obviously going to conference was huge. Deciding, when Cami said, just decide it. Decide you're gonna promote this month. I mean, that's huge. Which actually, I love that she said decide. When she said decide that, I still want to hear her aha. But the people that are on here, what are you gonna decide to do this month? Post it in the chat. I want to hear what you're gonna decide. Like, I want to know, what are you deciding to do this month with 13 days left? Go ahead and put that in the chat while Morgan shares with us. Okay, like some sort of aha that sticks out, or a last final tip.
There's so many. There's so many things that I've learned since I joined this business. Um, I think like one of the biggest things that I have learned is just like leading from the front and not just like showing or like not just telling your team what to do and saying like, okay, this is what we do every day, whatever, and like giving them a list of things to do, but really, really leading from the front. And with the little things and the big things, like doing personal development and just really pouring into your team. If you don't do self-development, you're pouring from an empty cup. You can't do that. So make sure that you are filling yourself up, so that you can overflow and that wisdom to your team. That's something that's really huge, and they're going to follow that example. Your team won't do what you won't do. And so make sure that you're leading from the front in self-development. Make sure that you're the first person to post. If you're sitting here telling your team to post, but then they go to your Instagram and you haven't posted since January 25th, they're not going to take you seriously. They're going to be like, yeah, right. Like, this girl doesn't know what she's doing. So that's huge too. Being the top enroller of your team, you should always be like shooting for that. Even if you're not like a mass enroller, teaching your team to do that too. And I don't think that anybody can I think a lot of people just say like, I'm not a mass enroller, but like you could be. I really do think that every single person could be. And it's not because I work more than all of you. I just work really, really smart. And so I think that everybody can be a mass enroller. But anyway, shooting for like always making sure that you're filling your steps of success every month. And also like leading from the front in the things that corporate has us do, like on those contests that they have, making sure that you're doing your best to get to those events. And I don't know, like they had like the ranch thing or whatever, like, so going to that last year, or getting to events, like actually going to events and getting around people who do this business, who know what you're going through, who know the excitements and the struggles. Like when you're with your regular friends and you sign up a loyal customer, you can't scream and be like, sign a loyal customer. I mean, you could, but they're not going to get it. And when you're around at work people, they get it. They're like, yeah, and like freaking out with you. So it's just totally different. So definitely get to events. And then also like using those corporate approved photos, all of that stuff. Those are how like different ways you can lead from the front. And that is super, super important. So I don't know if that was super profound, but I think that somebody needed to hear it. So hopefully that was helpful. But I have so many aha moments. 4.5 years in, I could talk all night about the things that I've learned, but always continue to learn and be open and willing to learn and learn from your team. I know I'm like talking, but this is the last thing. Don't feel like you are the leader, so you have everything to teach your team and that they need to be learning from you. Be open to asking your team what they're doing that really works. Y'all, I have scripts that I use that I did not create. My team created those. And I'm like, that is really good. Like, yes. And I get them on our Zooms all the time. I'm like, you better tell them what you just told me, because that is amazing. And I would have never thought about that. So I think that just making sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where you're like, I'm the leader and like you need to do what I tell you to do and like all that stuff, like have that humility. I'm not saying I'm super humble, but I'm just saying like have that humility where you're like, I would love to learn from you. I would love to hear what you have to say. I would love to try that tip and all that good stuff. So that's it.
I love it. So many good things, girl. Well, I can definitely say that I think, just one of the huge things, is just your excitement, your positivity, your passion. That's contagious. That's contagious when bringing in customers, when bringing in distributors, when working with your team. And definitely, I think that you said it. You're filled up. You've got something in your cup to pour out. You're getting to an event. You're falling in love with the products. You're using the products. So, I mean, there's no wonder you're where you're at. And so thank you so much for sharing with us, girl. And we appreciate it. And we are
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're cheering you on and can't wait to watch you go ambassador.
Thank you. Ambassador 2.0 for you.
Yep.
All of the goals that y'all put in the chat, all of y'all can do that. I believe in you. I really, really do.
Yes, I love it. Love that you guys decide it. Go for it. Okay, y'all. I hope everyone has a good night. We will get this recording posted soon. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.